Hi guys, I'm Bri.
And I'm Alli. This is Offscript.
If you think about it, books are potential scripts for movies.
When this adaptation happens, typically it's disappointing because they went off script.
In this series, we will be talking about how off script they went.
That works. We're a bookish podcast.
Damn straight.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Today, we have a fun episode for you.
Goodness, you thought I was picky with Twilight?
Oh, man. Well, you know what? You're allowed to be picky with this one because you don't need to be picky with this one. You just have to say your movie. I'll say the book.
I know.
It's one of those podcasts.
It's insane.
Yep. I'm Alli.
I'm Bri.
And this is Off Script, and we're going to be talking about Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief.
Which is one of my favorite books. Book series. Oh.
What?
Can I ever not spoil shit?
Well, I was laughing because you were texting me about how hard it was for you to read this book.
Yeah. It has been a very hard book to read. I also have realized this book talks in past and present tense. So it's like Percy's telling you his story, but then you're supposed to be there with him. And I kind of I'm not a fan of that.
Oh, yeah, I see. I guess it didn't really bother me. I didn't really notice.
Yeah, I noticed. Because then I'm like, okay, so you're telling me the story. And then the next scene, it's like how it's happening. You're in the story and you're like, okay. So I think that's the problem. And I think, again, kind of like what you said, I think reading it sandwiched between books that are not like this was not a great choice.
So we originally were supposed to release The Host last week. So Bri, was on top of it and actually read it. And I was not, which is why we moved it. And you'll hear more about that in the Host episode. Mm-hmm. But the Host is very detailed.
Very detailed.
This one is not.
No.
Like,
a lot can happen, but like in 2 sentences.
Yeah, it like a whole chapter, like 12 things happen. And after reading a bunch, like all of our books for our podcast, it was lacking on detail for me. Mm-hmm. Like there were things that I was like, can you go into more detail about that? Like how'd that happen type of thing. But you also, how did you describe it? That it was like written like
it was written like a preteen because Percy's a preteen. Uh-huh. And so it's very much in that adolescent mindset because it's also supposed to be geared toward adolescents too.
Yeah. Which I actually really appreciated because it really did feel like a 12-year-old was telling the story. There are some books out there that it's like, it's supposed to be from a kid's point of view, but they're using these huge words or like all this detail. And I'm like, this doesn't sound like a kid's book. Yeah. And so this one really did well at, this is a 12-year-old. For 12-year-olds, we're going to talk like 12-year-old.
I was just going to say, I guess what I should say, rather than it's one of my favorite books, because I haven't touched this book since, I think I tried to read it in college, but I just had too much on my plate in college, and I was like, I already know this series. I don't need to. When I was a kid and when I was a preteen and an adolescent, like middle school and high school, I reread these like no tomorrow. Like, I'll take a picture of the
spine.
Yeah, my spine of Percy Jackson, because my Lightning Thief is insanely like
read it a million times.
Exactly. Yeah. Like reading it this time, I felt bad. I was like, oh no, my book might fall apart. It's one of my favorites. I enjoy the story. I enjoy the gods and all that. Mm-hmm. But it's not one that I've always been like, yes, let me reread it.
You got to try the new series.
I know. I own all of them.
Percy and wait, you own the...
Yeah, because I love Rick. I love Rick Riordan. I love the Percy Jackson series so much that I have bought every single one of his other books and all of his other series.
But you haven't read them. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This was Cameron's favorite series. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What's funny is I was going to paint a picture.
Yeah, you should still.
Okay, but you didn't do the first half.
Oh, it's season 4, episode 17, released on April 29th, 2024. I never say that, but hi, guys.
Hello, it's the 29th. How's your day?
So, I was trying to do a different beginning.
Okay,
so
I see it.
I think I'm just going to start doing that, and you should do that too. Just kind of twist
throw
things
in
up.
things in.
It might
We
mess
don't
up.
normally do.
It might mess us up at the beginning part, but we'll get
It'll
there.
be fun. We'll figure something out.
Guys, we're professionals.
We are. So today, guys, I went and got one of my favorite sandwiches from one of my favorite sandwich places. Literally, I got this is not what my story was supposed to be, but apparently I'm going to tell you all about my MSM sandwich.
Picture painting.
Yes. So I haven't had MSM in a year, I realized. And I was like, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a 13-inch so that I can eat a whole sandwich today and have a whole sandwich tomorrow. I ended up eating a whole sandwich for lunch, half a sandwich for dinner, and now I have half a sandwich for tomorrow. But anyways.
You don't eat the whole 13 inches in one sitting?
No.
Okay.
Like, not even Subway. Subway, I only do a 6-inch.
I guess Subway's 11 inches, right? Like we've determined that they cheat us out an inch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I eat a whole, but I don't get crazy amount of stuff on mine. So mine.
See, mine's today I had ham, smoked cheddar, pickles, avocado, and lettuce.
That's not a whole bunch.
No, but it's filling, especially like the French roll. And I have a very small stomach, everybody, like bird-sized stomach. Like I hadn't eaten anything today. I was starving. I went and I ate with them at MSM. Literally, I ate as much as I would have ate on a regular day. I was like, cool. So even when I'm super hungry, this is all I can eat. Anyways, so we get MSM, then we go back to Justin and Ashley's place, and it's a Guild Wars day. That's what we're doing, right? So my story is about this dungeon that we did. First, me, Ash, and Justin attempted doing it because me and Justin are a high level, so we should be able to carry Ash through with us because she's low level, and dungeons are the quickest way to level people up. So we try to take her through. We die we don't even get to the first boss. Oh, we die because on the staircase there's fire.
That dang fire is always getting us no matter what game we play.
It's true. And literally, like, they walk by it, one of us dies. So then the other person's like, okay, I'm going to go and heal you. Then they die. So then the next person's like, I'm going to heal you both. And I'm like, guys, no, this is so bad. So then Ash has to leave and she's going to come back. So I called in reinforcements and I was like, Cassidy, if you can you please jump on Guild Wars to help carry us through this dungeon? Like, if we have 3 people who are of a higher level and Ash, we should be good. So Cassidy joins us. Ash gets back. We plow through the first half of the dungeon super quick. And I was like, it's insane how much of a difference just one extra person makes. But the other thing too is I told them, I was like, okay, so I need you two because their characters can be healers. And I was like, I'm a necromancer. I have like 6 different things fighting with me. You guys need to just focus on healing Ashley. Like, that's your job. You are our healers. Focus on her because she needs it more than I do. So then we get to our first boss. He killed us once. Then we came up with a plan. I was like, okay, me and Cassidy are going to run in there and just blast him. Justin and Ashley stand back, fight the minions that come spawn. That should be good. We beat him really quick that way. We're getting to the next part of the dungeon. This is the part where I texted you and was like, I'm going to be later than I thought I was going to be. Because to progress the story, one of the NPCs has to follow you because he's the one that you're trying to help. To get down these stairs, it's both sides have fire and it's a timed thing. So you have to run really quick because it just goes like down the stairs, right? So we're all going down and, you know, some of us aren't great with our timing. So we get hit by the fire. But like everyone except for me has a great ability where when they get knocked down, they can teleport somewhere further away from the fire. So like then people can come and resurrect them, whatever. Me, I suck. If I get hit by the fire, I'm down and I'm dead. Okay. But the problem was the stupid NPC got hit by the fire. And to get into the room and progress the story, he had to get into the room. Right. So we spent probably like a half hour, maybe 45 minutes trying to heal this jerk. Oh no. And get him into the room.
Could you just like drag his body off the stairs and then necromance him up?
I freaking wish. That would have been so nice. No, we had to have Justin and Cassidy, our 2 elementalists who can heal. I was like, okay, guys, basically, like, you need one of you standing up at the top of the stairs, throwing down healing stuff at the person who's going to go and heal him. And they literally had to, like, run, heal. And once they saw the fire, they would jump back and, like, heal themselves. And then run. And then you don't know how many times they would get him full of life and he would, like, stand right up and the fire would get him again.
Oh, my gosh.
And then we finally got him, but I was at the top of the stairs. And I thought because I was the one who was like running the dungeon and I was the one that started it, that he was following me. So I was at the top of the stairs when they get him alive and he's back up the top with us. And I was like, oh, shoot, we have to get him down without him hitting the fire. Again, all of us got down, but he got hit by the fire.
Oh, my gosh.
And I was like, this is insane. So then I think I went to try and help someone heal him and then I died. I was like, okay, cool. This is fantastic. So then I get back to the waypoint and I'm at the top of the stairs and I realized I was like, oh, he follows me. So maybe I should be downstairs so that when he heals, he runs down the stairs. The next time he healed full life, he decided to follow Cassidy, who was back up at the top of the stairs.
Oh, gosh. He just wanted to be at the top of the stairs. He's like, no, that's too scary down
like,
there.
Ooh, scary fire. Yeah. So...
well, that's fun.
yeah, we finally beat it.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I ended up leaving like a half hour later than I anticipated.
That's all right. I was later too.
Yeah, it's all good.
Mm-hmm. Okie dokie. So we have a synopsis for you. Percy Jackson learns that his true father is Poseidon, the Greek god of the sea. Percy sets out with his 2 friends to become a hero by undertaking the quest across the United States to find the entrance to the underworld and stop a war between the gods. Our author is Rick Riordan. Director Chris Columbus.
Isn't it Rick Riordan?
Riordan? I don't know.
I thought it was Riordan.
Riordan. Okay. Sure. Screenplay writer Craig Titley?
I would say Titley.
Okay. Audiobook reader Jesse Bernstein. Awesome. I loved him.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Columbus as in Harry Potter Chris Columbus?
Yes.
As in, isn't like the first and second movies of the Harry Potter series some of the better matching?
Yes.
But what the fuck?
it's Craig's fault.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, that's true.
But actually it's I don't know if it is because it doesn't director have final say about screenplay writers. Mm-hmm. Just wait for some of my fun facts.
Oh, fun. The other thing I thought as I'm watching this movie and they're throwing in a ton of shit that I'm just like, what the fuck is the point of that? I'm thinking Chris got really excited because when he did Harry Potter, CGI was not that great of a thing. And so now when Percy Jackson's thing, he's got great CGI.
I also think, was it at 3D time? Like time of 3D when it was popular? Because there was a scene where Luke like grabs something and he like pulls it back in. And it was like, that looks real 3D like effect right there. So I don't know if it was, but
I don't know. But also, I know we haven't covered the host, but you've watched the movie. Mm-hmm. Isn't it hilarious seeing him as this bad guy now?
Yes. I was like, wait a second. Well, because I had to look him up in, was it him I looked up? I don't think it was him. It was someone else I looked up while watching the host. Mm-hmm. And then I just was like, because usually when I look up one person, then I look at
everyone else.
And I was like, hey. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So anyways, okay. So the book came out June 28th, 2005. Wow. I didn't realize it came out when we were that little.
Well, that's crazy.
2005. We were 7th grade.
Yeah. I didn't realize that I read it when it just came out.
Yep. 7th grade.
I thought it had been out and I just found it and I read it. Well,
brand new.
Blown.
It's probably advertised in your school library and stuff.
Probably. Mm-hmm. So this was a book where I actually had to wait for the rest of the series.
I say your school library. We were going to school together.
Yeah, we were. We were. Weird. Yeah. I had no idea.
Yep. Well, the movie came out February 12th, 2010. That's a 10-year difference. That was when we graduated.
I was just going to say, I don't remember it coming out when we graduated. I thought it came out before, but
I mean, technically it did. It came out like 5 months before.
I meant like years before.
Oh. I remember being either junior or senior because I saw it with Cameron and Cassidy and Richard.
I can't remember who I saw it with.
And
probs by myself.
This is kind of answering the next question, which first I watched it first.
Yeah.
So,
so you did not know how fucked it was?
No, I heard these boys like, what the hell? They were pissed. And I'm just like, that's a good movie. Oh my gosh.
I read the book first, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I answered that when we were talking about when it came out.
Your initial thoughts.
I love Greek myth. My middle name is Athena, guys. And so I kind of like, I have this weird tie to Greek mythology, I feel like, because of that. Mm-hmm. So then I'm always interested in everything that is surrounding this. Yeah. So I like that.
I just think it's a fun story. Like, I think the thought process of this kid and he has to, like, you heard of all these stories. That's the cool part is like, you know, the stories, you know
the Greek mythology behind it all.
Yeah. Stories of Medusa, you know, that Greek gods, the myth of them having, you know, kids and all this stuff. And so to have it all wrapped in a story and then like them figure it out. Like, so like Auntie M's, they're like, oh my gosh, M, Medusa, and like all this stuff. I just think it's a fun thing. Yeah, I love it. Why did we pick it?
Because it's one of my favorite series. In the lineup, I did it after the host because I felt that I would need to get Allie back into books that she might enjoy. Although I also thought that she would enjoy the host because she was big into Stephanie Meyer during Twilight. So I was like,
and
she might like this.
I might.
Yeah, you might be. Yet. I don't know.
I have not finished it as of still.
Yeah. So I think I know. And then I also realized there is a very big part of me, even though I feel like I totally spaced, but I think I tied it because of Jake Abel too. I think I was like, oh, he's in the host. Guess what else he's in? Percy Jackson. Because I remember when they cast him as Ian, I was excited because I was like, oh, you're the guy from Percy Jackson.
Oh, yeah. So, have fun.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Let's do some Allie super fun facts. I actually have some super fun facts today, you guys. This first one, I had to put like 3 fun facts in one because they all were like the same general thing, but each one had a little bit different detail. So I just smushed them all together.
Like, it's the same one.
So Rick Riordan, how do you say Riordan wrote the books, as we know. He hated the script and has never seen the complete film. He called this movie his life's work gone through a meat grinder. He offered to revise the script without pay, but the studio said no. Oh, the studio. Okay, so it's not the director. The studio said no. But he has stated he is grateful for how many people discovered the books because of the films. He also strongly advocated for the novels to be readapted, which later happened with the Disney Plus series, Percy Jackson and the Olympians, for which he wrote most of the teleplays. I'm so excited. I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, my eyes are teary.
Yeah, so that was a long fun fact. I had to cram a bunch in there.
Oh, I'm really going to cry about this.
I love that, unlike Veronica Roth, he was flat out like, nah,
like, this
sucks.
Bullshit.
They screwed it up. But I'm really excited that he wrote.
But he also kind of said what she said, where, you know, even a bad film is your book being filmed because his books were then found.
Right, exactly. But I'm excited that he wrote most of the episodes.
I haven't watched it yet because I was nervous.
Well, now you don't have to be.
I know. Now I'm like, oh.
I watched a preview with Riley. Yeah, it's probably too dark for her. She gets scared of everything.
I was gonna say, you kept saying you were gonna watch it with the kids, and I was like,
after like rereading it, even before rereading it, I was like, I don't know. And then rereading it, like the Minotaur part and everything, I'm like,
this is a few years down the road. Yeah.
And so then we watched a preview for it, and she's like, no. I was like, yeah, fair. And so, But from the preview, there are I noticed some things that I'm like, not so much, but they have the boat ride and all this sort of stuff. So
I know. I think I have to wait for John. I think John wants to watch it because the other night we've been doing dinner and TV shows and he tried to get me to start Percy Jackson. I was like, I can't yet. And he's like, what? Why? And I was like, I have to read the book and do that movie first. So I think I have to wait for him.
Yeah, probably. Couple things. I know. Do you know how nice it is now? Just to be like, what do I want to watch this? Click.
It's been so rough.
Okay, number 2. A real Camp Half-Blood opened in Brooklyn and Manhattan.
That's cute.
I know. I want to go.
What is it?
I don't know. Is it like archery training and stuff?
I know. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
I don't know. Look it up. Because I didn't do all my research. I was just like, that's a fun fact.
She just found a fun fact. Oh, cool. It just looks like they even have the orange shirt.
Oh, cute. Do they put you in the They have to put you in the cabins. Oh, wow.
What our mortal guardians are saying about camp. My son adored it and wanted to go back and back. Camp Half-Blood, Camp Jupiter, Daring Girls, Camp Mythic. There's a bunch of different ones. Let's look at what Camp Half-Blood is. Where heroes are forged. The heroic experience, becoming a hero.
How cool. I would go.
At Camp Half-Blood, we meticulously crafted a mythic summer camp experience. They freaking LARP.
Yeah.
Brings the adventures of Camp Half-Blood to life, allowing your child to step right into the living epic of Camp Half-Blood.
How cute. I bet they go on quests and everything.
Oh, their website takes forever to load.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of that. They have mythology studies. They have, what's the quest? A demigod can't become a hero without going on their quest. Fate demands that we are tested and our campers are always rise to the challenge. Mythical monsters from around the world are always seeking to destroy the camp, or worse, the gods themselves. It's up to our young heroes to venture into the unknown and dark reaches of their park to stop the bad guys, battle with monsters, solve ancient puzzles, and unravel the mysteries to keep the magic of camp alive. They have combat classes,
forge crafting,
and the Olympics.
Oh,
that's so cute.
That's cute. I'd go.
Hell, I will have children and take them to New York every summer to make them go. I'll be like, you can't. I never got to go, so guess what?
You're going to Harry Potter Land when they're 11 and then Camp Half-Blood when they're 12.
Yep. Damn straight. You're a wizard and a demigod.
Oh gosh. Then 17. Is it 17 or 16? Take them to Forks. How old's Bella?
Oh. I was going to go with Edward.
Okay. Take them when they're, what?
301. I was going to say 17.
Okay.
But if she's 18 when she turns.
She's like 17, right? 16. It's on her 17th birthday.
Oh, 17th birthday is when she gets cut?
Yeah.
17. We're going to Forks. Sorry, it's going to be boring compared to the first 2 trips we did.
They're going to be like, wow.
I'm gonna be like, no rides, no quest, no fighting with swords. No, but vampires are here. I'll make them go play baseball with me in a field.
There you go. All right.
I'll make them cliff jump. I won't cliff jump. I'll be in the water. Hi.
That's because that's the werewolf stuff, not the...
Yeah, not the vampires. I'll let you do the werewolf stuff, but I won't do it.
We've talked about Twilight twice in this book, or this podcast episode.
When do I not talk about
No, but you know what? I don't think this season you haven't talked about it at all. I've been trying to figure that out. I can't remember the last time you did.
Bad Mother's Handbook had to be.
Yeah, but that wasn't this season. It was last season.
No, it wasn't.
No. Or Johnny Depp. Haven't heard Johnny Depp in a long time. Or
that's great. The other
Rob.
day, did I send you that Snapchat? I was house sitting, and this house, they didn't have like streaming services, but I found the best TV station in the entire planet. They had 21 Jump Street on 24/7. And I was like, what? I only owned the first season. So this was heaven to me. And he's a little baby Johnny Depp.
Oh, gosh.
I really haven't talked about Rob even.
I feel like Rob came up like once or twice.
I think he has.
But not compared to used to. Every episode.
That's because we hadn't... That's because See, that's because we hadn't done him yet.
You are 12.
I am.
Oh,
That's hilarious.
Okay. Yep. So
Oh my gosh, wait. What am I going to do with my children for Hunger Games and Divergent?
Oh, Hunger Games. Yikes.
I'll have 2 and make them fight every year to the death. Or at least to the brink of death.
Oh my gosh.
No.
And then Divergent, you got a lot of options. We just did 5 of them.
That's very true. I'll see which one they like most. And then be sad and disown them when it's the opposite of candor.
Apparently, that's what happens.
Oh, I didn't get to update everyone about how I went to John upset that I was candor. And I gave him the brief, like, abnegation is this, dauntless is reckless, and like things like that. And I was like, which one do you think I am? And he went, candor. No hesitation. No, like,
Oh my God.
no second thoughts. It was just like, candor.
He knows you.
How dare.
All right. Number 3. Jake Abel, Luke. Is that Abel, right?
Yep.
Okay. Is seen playing multiplayer mode of Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2. That was Cameron and mine's favorite one. Kevin McKidd, Poseidon, is a voice actor for that video game.
That's funny.
Yeah.
He's baby in this movie, Kevin.
Yes, he is.
Actually, Jake is too. He's a little baby compared to Ian in the host.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely. Okay.
Heck, freaking Logan is a baby too. Logan Lerman. Sorry.
Yes, definitely. They all are so little.
They really are.
Okay. Rick based Sally Jackson off of his wife, Becky.
Cute.
I know. I thought that was sweet. Okay. When Kyron calls the campers to gather and go over the rules for capture the flag, he yells for Dylan and Paris to stop lollygagging. Kyron is played by Pierce Brosnan, whose 2 younger sons are Dylan and Paris.
Cute.
Yeah, I thought that was sweet.
That's cute. Let's talk about his hair in this movie.
Oh, man.
All right, guys, before we get into this episode, I did want to make a note. We have been promoting that our friend Cassidy would be on this episode with us, but slight change of plans. He actually opted to be on Percy Jackson and the Sea of Monsters because he's never seen the movie. So he's honestly a hardcore Percy Jackson fan. Like, he watched the new TV show right when it came out. He told me that it was way better than the movie.
He's read all of the books.
Yes, it's one of his favorite series. So
he's who tried to get me to read it for ever and ever and ever.
I'm pretty positive that our friendship is only a thing because of this book series.
So we had to have him on.
Yes, and we wanted him for this one because how special. But then when he said he had never seen the second movie, we were like, that would probably be better.
But we let him choose, and he did choose that one too. So.
Yes. So that is why we do not have our friend Cassidy with us.
But stay tuned. He'll be next week. Okay. Are we ready?
I don't think we are, but we are.
I know. I don't even.
I guess the movie should start first.
Yeah.
Because the stupid movie starts with the gods. And I'm like,
you're right. It does. Yep.
What the shit? You see Poseidon coming out. And first off, the gods don't like anyone being able to know that they're there. And Poseidon comes out of the water fucking like 20 feet tall. What? If these gods have been coming down and fallen in love with humans all these years, don't you think there's a better way for them to do this rather than to come out of the water as also not only is he 20 feet tall, but he's in his freaking Trojan era costume.
I think it's called an outfit because they're not pretending. They're real.
It's outfit. But then literally once he shrinks down, he's back. He's in human clothes.
Oh, I didn't catch that. You're right.
Ridiculous. Especially since in the book, it says that Poseidon looks like a surfer dude. Poseidon's wearing like the board shorts and he's got like, I don't even remember what kind of shirt he's got on, but like in my head, it's this dude with a puka shell and he's got like long hair and he's like sun-kissed when Kevin McKidd is clearly Irish.
I know. Oh my gosh. They were going off like Ariel. Ariel has red hair.
Yeah,
or
shoot.
Poseidon should have red hair too.
Duh. And then they go to Mount Olympus, right? Right? You'd think. No, they go straight to the top of the Empire State Building, which technically in the book, it's the 600th floor that does not exist of the Empire State Building. But in the movie, Zeus and Poseidon will just have a chit chat at the top of the Empire State Building, you know, in front of all the humans. Okay. Also, Zeus blowing open that door.
I know.
What was the purpose of that? Just because he's Zeus? Cool, dude. You have powers. This is where you find out all the drama with the lightning thief, which you're not supposed to know about this until halfway through the book. Yet Zeus is here being like, I know you had your son go and steal my lightning bolt. Poseidon's all, I can't talk to the kids, or I can't talk to my kids because you won't let me. And I was like, it's not that big of a deal in the book. There's not this law that you can't talk to your children.
No.
Athena gave Annabeth her invisible cap.
Yep. They have to claim them at some point too, if they want to.
It was a bunch of stupid drama that did not make me happy.
Guys, I wish we were videotaping this because, man, Bri was so animated and so angry.
This movie pisses me off to no end. I forgot how bad it is.
Oh my gosh.
You should have seen me when I was watching it. Because, like, I know going into these when I've read the book that the movie's going to, like, you know, not do it justice. Sometimes I do prefer the movie over the book. So I went into it being like, okay, there's going to be some liberties, but, you know, I bought this movie.
Right. It couldn't be that bad.
I didn't even buy the sequel. So that should tell you how the sequel is. I watched it, and once the scene started, I was like, what in the actual fuck am I watching? This is not Percy Jackson.
Okay. Ready for
wait.
No, there's more.
Wait. No.
The pool part?
Oh my God. I fucking hate that part so much.
That's how it starts right after, right?
Yes, you're right. I forgot about that. Because now Percy is sitting underwater, holding he's not supposed to be holding his breath. He's supposed to be able to, first off, he's not supposed to look wet underwater. He's supposed to be able to just breathe underwater, when in the movie he's clearly holding his breath, and Grover is timing him to be like, wow, dude. But then he keeps giving him looks like, I know who your daddy is, which also he's not supposed to know who his dad is.
Right.
That pissed me off so much in this movie because everyone knew who his dad was without him getting claimed. And then after the first day that we see at the school, he goes home to his mom and he talks to his mom about his dyslexia and his ADHD, which he never does. He's never like, oh, Mom, it's gotten bad. And his mom the whole time is just like, oh, honey, someday things will make sense. Like, his mom was never flat out like that. She was cryptic, but not like.
He also wasn't supposed to go home because he lives at a boarding school.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I think you can start.
Okay. Now we can start with the book because all that stuff did not happen. But let's go. So Percy's at school for troubled youth. He's 12 years old. Maybe we start with that. 12 years old. And they're on a field trip to like a museum and they're learning about Greek mythology. He has his best friend Grover. He has a bad limp and he's on a field trip with his teacher, Mr. Bruner, and he's in a wheelchair, but Percy really likes his teacher. And then there's Mrs. Dodds, who's the math teacher, and Percy just is like, ugh, and she doesn't like Percy.
I'm so glad you said that because in the fucking movie, Mrs. Dodds is an English teacher.
And she's a substitute.
Yeah, well, she is supposed to be a substitute.
Oh, in the book she is too?
Yes, because Percy says how he had his original teacher for a week and then out of nowhere, Mrs. Dodds was his substitute, like long-term substitute with no explanation as to what happened. It's like a quick sentence.
I missed it.
That like he doesn't think about until, that's what I wanted to say. He doesn't think about it until after his encounter with her at the field trip.
Okay.
So it's there, but it's not there. The movie makes it way obvious.
Right.
The one thing I wanted to say with my ADHD and dyslexia thing was that a lot of what gets said in the movie is inner monologue. And therefore, when he says things like that to his mom, it's because in the book, he's telling us about his dyslexia and his ADHD and how it's really bad for him and how that's how come he can't do well in school and how come he keeps having to jump from school to school. But there's no way to do that because they don't do inner monologue.
Right. So I guess you can't be as picky about that one.
Oh, I'm going to be picky about that one. I still think it's bull. Why? Second he comes in and starts talking to his mom about that, I was like, why?
How are we supposed to know? I don't know why I can't stop yawning tonight either, guys. Sorry.
I know.
So they're learning about Greek mythology, and Percy and this bully girl, can't remember her name, they get in a fight. And somehow the water fountain pushes her over, and Mrs. Dodds takes Percy away from the group, and she turns into this bat-like creature.
Wait, did you say that they're on a field? Oh, yeah, you did. Okay.
I did.
Okay.
They're on, she turns into like this bat creature, and then Mr. Brunner rolls in, throws Percy a pen, and Percy's like, what the heck? But he uncaps the pen, and it turns into a sword, and he ends up attacking Mrs. Dodds, and then it's like nothing happened. He goes out, and he's like, what the heck? Where's Mrs. Dodds? Everybody's like, who's that? We don't know who that is. And even Grover's like, I don't know what you're talking about, dude. And Mr. Brunner's like, glad you're enjoying the field trip, Percy. Let's keep going. And like, nothing happened.
I hate this movie. So after he talked to his mom about his dyslexia, I forgot, Gabe comes in. And first off, Gabe is like the skinny, short dude. And I pictured this fat, ugly, bald dude. I think it's because, which is funny because this book came out way after this book. But in my head, he reminds me of in the short Second Life of Bri Tanner. There's a vampire in there who's like big and smelly. And like because of that, no one likes to look at him and see him. So he's basically invisible. And so that's who Bri hangs out with because she doesn't want to be seen. So like in my head, that's kind of how I correlate Gabe because that's kind of what he's been doing for Percy.
That's cool.
Yeah, but that's not how he is in the movie. And then when Percy's going on his field trip, guess who he sees across the street?
Who?
His father. Because Poseidon's just walking around. Because they can do that now. Whenever they want.
I mean, I guess they could.
They could, but there's this whole like possible war thing going on because there's supposed to be thunderclouds in the sky and all this stuff. So Poseidon's supposed to be a little bit busy right now, but instead in the movie, he's just walking around stalking his kid. And then on the field trip, Mr. Brunner is telling the kids all about demigods. I was like, this is stupid. This is the most stupidest way to foreshadow anything I've ever seen. Like, why?
Let me tell you exactly what's going to happen.
Exactly. That irritated me so much. And then the freaking Mrs. Dodds fight. I don't even remember why she pulled him off to the side. It was for no reason, apparently. Do you remember? I just think
there was a reason.
I feel like she just pulled him off like, Percy, come with me. And like pulled him into a side room.
I feel like there was like a minor thing and she's like, come with me. And he's like, okay. And he looks at Grover like, oh, okay, I don't know what's going on. But it wasn't for a fight.
Which makes more sense. And then she just disappears. And he's like, where did she go? And she goes, she's on top of this like, first off, why did they go into a room that's apparently under construction? Where there's like rafter scaffolding thing for her to get on top of. That makes no sense.
Drama.
Yeah. And then during the fight, Grover brings Mr. Brunner into the room. I was like, Percy's in here. We'll save you, Percy. I'm like, you're supposed to be outside pretending like nothing's happening. Why are you coming inside? And then freaking, how do you say it? Chiron? Chiron. I'm just calling him that because that's who he is. You're welcome, everyone.
Spoilers.
So he comes in and starts yelling at the bat. And I was like, release Percy. And she just drops him and flies out the window.
That's right. Percy didn't fight her.
Percy does not fight her. Nope. Freaking Chiron just says, hey, here you go.
Gone.
Yes. And then Grover and Chiron sit there and are like, Percy's not safe anymore. No, we have to get him. You know where we have to get. Yeah, let's get him. Yeah. And Percy's like sitting there like, what? And then Chiron's like, you must go with Grover. Which, by the way, if you're going to the camp too, why aren't you going to go with them?
Right.
Like, run away, but I'll meet you there. You're in danger, but you'll see me soon. And so he tells him to follow Grover, and he reaches into his jacket and pulls out a pen and says, take this to defend yourself. Not throwing it and saying, uncap it. And the pen is a click pen in the movie. I hate that.
Yeah.
Because I always think it would be hilarious to see a kid with a sword put a cap on the tip of it and watch it shrink into a pen. So instead, he gets the pen and click, boom, dumb. And then Grover and Percy run to his house. Grover bursts in to tell Sally, hey, we're leaving right now. And Sally doesn't even question him. But then Grover knocks out Gabe, punches him. I can't, like, with his crutch, I think. Whatever. Knocks him out. And then they all just run. And they immediately go to Camp Half-Blood. Don't even get me started about Camp Half-Blood.
Hold on, we're not there yet in the book.
I know.
But also, okay.
This book makes me heated. This movie makes me heated.
I'm just going to throw this in there because you were on a roll.
Yeah.
First off, in the movie, Percy is 16, not 12. Okay. And I remember reading something that, like, that was one of Rick's biggest beefs with the whole thing. And he had a whole reason he wanted them to do 12. I'll try and find it. And another thing, when in the book, it makes sense why Mrs. Dodds grabs Percy after the water thing, because that was her cue as, oh,
you are a demigod.
Not only a demigod, but like, oh, water. Big, you're probably the one we're searching for.
Yeah.
But instead it's like, oh, I just have a feeling.
Where is it? Give it to me.
He's like, what the hell?
You know.
Poor kid.
Especially because she says something like, you must have it in the book, but she's not repeating herself and being like, you must have it. You have to have it.
Right.
Whereas that's all she cares about in the movie.
Yeah. All right. So back in the book, Percy goes back to school and he's just pissed off because everybody's like, I don't know who Mrs. Dodds is. And like playing like this whole thing never happened. So he ends up acting out and he gets kicked out of school next year. He decided he wanted to do good on his final exam for Mr. Bruner's test, though, because he really liked him. So he decided to go ask for help. But this is where he hears Grover and Mr. Bruner talking. And they're talking.
I wish.
They're talking about Percy and all this weird stuff that's happening. And he's kind of eavesdropping. But then, you know, it ends and Percy acts like he didn't overhear anything. And he's waiting for Grover to explain it. But Grover never did. And then Grover rides home with Percy for the summer break. And he says he's supposed to protect Percy. And Percy's like, what the heck? You're a cripple. Yeah. You have to protect me. And the bus breaks down and they get off and they see these three old ladies making socks and they see her cut the thread.
I wish. Because a lot of this too reminds me so much of Hercules, which is one of my favorite Disney movies. Mm-hmm. And so when I see them, I see the eyes and the...
Yeah. What is wrong with these scissors? Anyways, Grover starts to freak out and Grover's just muttering like they never make it past 6th grade. And Percy's like, what the heck is happening? So Percy left Grover when they got off the bus. But Grover's like, wait for me. I just have to go pee. And Percy just dips. And he went home and there's Gabe, who's a stinky stepdad who he hated. And Gabe's super rude to his mom. And his mom's like, don't worry, we're going to go to Montauk. And they went and they slept in a cabin. It's one of Percy's favorite places ever because he always hears stories about his dad there. And all of a sudden they're woken up, though, because there's this giant storm outside. And then here comes Grover. And we find out that he's part goat. He's a satyr. And Percy's learning all this weird stuff. And we learn that his dad never met him because he wanted him to go to a certain summer camp, but his mom hasn't let him because she's been worried that she'll never see him again, and all this stuff happens. So Percy, Grover, and his mom start heading to this camp. But now all of a sudden they're being chased by a Minotaur, and it crashes the car, and Percy's mom is telling him, run! And he starts to, but then the Minotaur grabs his mom, so he stops, and the Minotaur crushes her, or we think, and she dissolves into this gold dust. And he ends up fighting the Minotaur, and he breaks his horn off, and the Minotaur ends up dying, and he goes to help Grover, but then they both pass out. And someone says, that's him.
So there's no Montauk trip in the movie, which made me upset too. And there's no blue food in the movie. His mom is always making blue food for special occasions. It's a huge thing throughout all the books. It's his favorite thing. He's always talking about blue pancakes, blue jelly beans, blue milk, blue eggs, blue blah, 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 blah. No blue anything. So then on their drive, because Grover and Percy come to the house all freaked out. Oh, we gotta go, right? Then they're driving and it's all peaceful and like, doo-doo-doo-doo.
It really was.
The mom's like telling him, oh, your father loved me so much. And like all these details. And I'm like, that's not what you tell him in the book. Because you can't tell him stuff like that. Because his dad's God. So you know that, but... But Sally don't care in the movie. Sally's like, oh, he loves us. And then they get to the camp. And this irritates me. Yeah, the things like the Minotaur is following them and running after them. And they get out of the car. And they get out of the car and the Minotaur throws the car at them.
I know.
That's not how it happens in the book, guys. The car crashes. Minotaur like rips open the roof, trying to find them after they've already ran out. Ridiculous. Anyways, they get to the camp with his mom. There's no tree. There's no... How can Talia be a character?
She magically can't. Is in the next one. They tell her story and everything that they skipped in this one.
Because, you know, that's not important in the first one at all. So they get to the camp, including Mom. But Mom can't get past the threshold of the archway because she's not a demigod. She can't go in there. I don't even think that's a thing in the book. I don't think that's...
Isn't it the Talia? She the tree is what they can't get past, right? Not an archway.
Mm-hmm. So then the mom gets grabbed there because she can't get through the freaking archway. And... she then gets killed, basically, kind of. She didn't really turn into gold dust, in my opinion. Oh, it kind of was. Mm-hmm. I was just upset because I was like, this whole thing has just gone off the rails.
You're seeing red.
So basically, I was like, what the shit is happening right now? And then Percy comes out and starts fighting him. Oh, and the thing that really irritated me in this fight is he loses his pen. And a very important thing about this pen is that the pen will always come back to him, no matter what. So he loses his pen and now can't fight the Minotaur with his freaking sword pen. Ridiculous.
These are my favorite episodes because I just sit here. Finally. Finally.
I told you I was going to be heated. I hate. It's so messed up. What's even worse is like barely a 300-page book and you screwed it up. Okay? And the next one's like a 200-page book. And you screwed it up. Mm-hmm. How? You had the smallest book in the planet where the chapters are maybe 5 pages each. There's stuff you could have cut out for sure. Mm-hmm. Yet you changed everything.
Literally everything. The whole entire quest is changed.
The whole story. Nothing is the same. His name is Percy. He has a friend named Grover who's a satyr. Demigods are there. The gods are there.
That's about it.
There's a camp.
So, in the book, Percy wakes up and there's this girl who's taking care of him. Once he feels better, he went with Grover to meet Chiron, aka Mr. Brunner, because Mr. Brunner is a centaur And his wheelchair is his camouflage. What would that be?
His disguise?
Disguise. That's a better word.
I literally cannot wait to watch this show just to see him get out of the wheelchair.
Watch them not do it.
Man, because this is, ever since I first ever read this, all I could think was, how?
I know, me too.
How is that possible? Is he like sitting on his back legs? Is he like...
It's like Mary Poppins' magic bag.
Yeah, for real.
It just fits everything in there.
How? So yeah, that's what I want to see.
So we also meet the camp director, and his name is Mr. D. Percy finds out the Greek mythology is true, and Mr. D is some god.
Dionysus.
Sure.
He's the wine god, guys.
Yes, and he's been punished because he went fooling around with a nymph, right? A wood nymph or something.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's sent to be a director of Camp Half-Blood, and he's not allowed to drink anymore, and it's like just the worst.
Could you imagine being the wine god and being told you can't drink anymore?
I know, my favorite. Okay, it's in the next movie because Mr. D is not
just
in this
randomly
one.
appears.
Yeah, he's not in this movie, but in the next one he is. And my favorite is when he pours wine and then he drinks it, or he goes to drink it, but it turns to water. He's like, you know, the Christians have a God that does the opposite of this. He's like, now that's a religion or something like that. Or no, that's a God. Or, oh my gosh, it was just so funny. Anyways, so Percy's assigned to cabin 11 because cabin 11 is where all the travelers go and the not claimed ones.
So Percy wakes up and he's in the infirmary where there's a shit ton of kids there.
I know. And there's so many.
Yeah. I was like, what kind of freaking camp is this? Especially since in the book, he's supposed to wake up in the big house where like Chiron is and Mr. D, and like in my head, it's basically where like the admin and everything happen at this camp. And then there's like one small room for like a nurse's office. And that's where he's supposed to be. Not a whole like building outside of all the other buildings that's strictly for the infirmary. And then also the thing that Allie kind of mentioned but didn't really mention is that there's a little girl who's been taking care of him and like feeding him his stuff and all of this stuff. And that does not happen in the movie. No Annabeth yet. Not until later. No ambrosia. No nectar of the gods. I want all of that, especially since he's supposed to eat this stuff and be like, or no, he drinks it and he goes, ooh, that tastes like blue chocolate chip cookies. Which, how can you tell that it's blue, Percy? So Grover is the one who wakes him up. And then Grover starts showing him around the freaking like camp. And he's like, yeah, here's this and here's this and here's this and here's this. I'm like, Grover, you're supposed to be stressing right now because you're like, oh, I screwed up. I didn't protect the kid I was supposed to be protecting.
Again.
That's not a thing in this movie. Not at all. And then when Chiron finally finds Percy, he like goes and talks to him. And I'm pretty sure he takes him straight to Poseidon's cabin to put him in his cabin because he knows exactly who his father is.
Yeah, I was like, oh, wait, what?
Yeah, no cabin 11, no like, oh, I wonder who my father is for like a week. Nope, just immediately, here's your cabin. You have no siblings, so you're the only one. Be bored.
Make no friends.
And then in this scene, freaking Chiron tells Percy that Sally married Gabe because he stinks and he's been hiding Percy from the monsters and the Furies who are coming after him. When this is said by Grover forever later, and it's not a for sure, it's a I think your mom did it this way because of this, but I can't be sure that Gabe is why they haven't found you. Whereas in the movie, Chiron's like, this is exactly why. This is why she did it. I know.
As Bri just said, Percy is supposed to be shown around by Chiron. And they eventually go to the cabins, and Percy figured out that there's a cabin for each of the 12 gods. But no one's allowed in the first 3 cabins because the first 3 are Zeus, Hera, and Poseidon. Hades doesn't get a cabin because he's Hades and yuck. And none of the big three or four, I guess if you include Hades, are allowed to have kids because they made a rule about that. Zeus did, though, 20 years ago, and evil monsters were summoned to kill her and all this sort of stuff. And the whole, like, there's a war going on. So they're like, no more. And so her name was Talia, and she ended up dying, but she saved the life of two of her friends. And Zeus turned her into the tree that protects the border of Camp Half-Blood. So Percy got sent to Cabin 11, which is Hermes, and he's the god of travelers and thieves. And he met Luke, who is the cabin leader.
Why on earth does Zeus immediately point to Poseidon when there is a god of thieves?
I know, right? Oh my gosh.
But anyway.
So he met Luke, the cabin leader, and Luke chatted him up a bit. And then he goes and meets Annabeth, who was the girl that was taking care of him. And she shows him around camp a little bit more. And he found out that he had to be in cabin 11 until his father showed him who he was. But, you know, that might never happen. Annabeth is the daughter of Athena. So she's in whatever cabin that is. And Percy met Clarice, who's the daughter of Ares, and she's a little punkhead. And she tried to shove his head in the toilet, but all of the water shot out and hit her in the face and her friends. And Annabeth's like, yeah, I want you on my team for Capture the Flag.
Nope. Annabeth is on the opposite team as him for Capture the Flag.
He also, when he was walking around with Grover, is like, who's that?
Yes. And in the book, Annabeth has a hardcore crush on Luke.
Mm-hmm.
There's not like supposed to be a love thing between them just yet. Excuse you. What are you doing? And every time Percy looks at her, it's always slow motion. I also think poor Alexandria Daddayo, or however you say her last name, got cast as Annabeth. And I think because they screwed this up so bad, that's why I don't like her. Because I've never liked her and I couldn't figure it out why.
Oh.
And I think it's because of this.
Bummer. I like her. I mean, she's not Annabeth. She's supposed to be blonde.
She's supposed to be blonde.
12.
Yeah.
But so they go to dinner and he's learning new things from Luke, all about life and everything. And he learns that the lifers, there was Clarice, Annabeth, Luke, and a couple others, had done a field trip to Mount Olympus for the winter solstice, which we now learn is on the Empire State Building on the 600th floor. And after they left, it seemed like the gods were at war. Annabeth told Percy to talk to the Oracle and find out about a quest. But something happened a few years ago and no one's really allowed to go on quests anymore. And we don't know what's going on, and just try and get a quest.
And there's no damn Oracle in the movie. I really wanted to see that.
She's in the next one. Have you not seen the next movie?
I saw it once in theaters.
Okay, she's in the next one.
And it screwed shit up so bad that I didn't watch it ever again. So,
well, you guys, if you like this podcast, just wait till next week. No, they took chunks that they were like, oh, crap. We didn't know that this was going to be needed, even though the book has been released for 10 years. And so they put it in the second movie.
They're like, oh, that's why you guys had it in the book. I see what you did. Maybe we should backtrack. Put it all in this movie and then screw this movie up because we're basically redoing the first movie. Okay. All I remember from the first movie. Second movie, thank you. Is Grover in a wedding dress going up to the fisheye lens and like, Percy. Am I right? Am I wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So Percy does sword practice fighting against Luke, who's the top swordsman for the last 300 years. But Percy's doing really good. And then him and Annabeth are getting ready for Capture the Flag, and she puts him near the creek. And here comes Clarice, and she gets him with his spear, which is electric. It was a gift from Ares, her dad. And they end up being taken down, though, with the help of some water, because Percy's near the creek. And he steps into the water and all his wounds start to heal. And Annabeth and Percy hear hellhounds, which can only be in camp because they were summoned there by someone inside already. And they're able to take him down. But Percy got pretty hurt. But he gets into the water and he heals himself. And then a trident is above his head. And he is claimed as the son of Poseidon.
I have forgotten to say how many times Percy has also heard his father talk to him.
Oh, yeah. All the time.
And he doesn't know it's his dad just yet. But the fuck. Never in the book. Not a thing. Not a thing. Anyways, in the movie, basically, they're trying to say that Capture the Flag is between all of the different houses. Not like two separate teams, like, and houses have allies. Because Chiron's basically like, well, Percy, you're screwed. Like, it's just you? I don't know. And then Luke steps up. And this is the first time you're seeing Luke. And he's like, he can join Hermes. And they're like, all right, well, do we have extra gear for him? Because he's screwed. And then freaking Luke keeps taking Percy to go get the flag. When that's, it's so frustrating because Annabeth is against them. And Luke really wants to beat Annabeth when really they're supposed to be on the same team as Annabeth. There's no Clarice, which makes me mad.
She's in the next one too.
Oh, hey there. Didn't see ya. And then Percy is about to get the flag, but then Annabeth shows up out of nowhere, and now there's a huge fight with Annabeth. I'm like, what? Dumb.
He had to get near death so he could crawl into the water.
Oh, no. He had to get near death so that his dad could tell him to go into the water.
Yes.
And then he would crawl into the water. So he did that. And then there's no hellhound that appears in camp because guess what? Hades decides to show up.
In his demonic state.
Yeah. Saying that he needs Percy to come to the underworld. He must come. And if he comes, he'll save his mom for him. That's how their quest happens. Because Grover is like, you can't leave. And Chiron's like, you can't leave. And Percy's like, nah, I'm going to leave. So he packs his stuff to leave in the night. And then as he's leaving, Grover comes up to him and is like, hey, what you doing? And it's like, he looks like he's ready to leave too. And Percy's like, no, you're staying behind. I got to go do this myself. And Grover's like, nope, if you're going, I'm going. And then as they're walking out, Annabeth just joins them. Why? Why? It makes sense in the book that she's been wanting a quest because she wants to prove herself as a demigod. Yes, makes sense. This makes no sense.
She's and her and Percy are friends in the friends-ish in the book.
Yeah. Whereas in the movie, they just fought each other.
Right.
Like, what? And she's also been like, my mom doesn't like your dad.
Yeah.
Like, okay, then why are you trying to come save my mom with me? That's dumb. Oh, and then they're about to leave and they're like, we don't even know where we need to go to get into the underworld. And they're like, Luke would know.
Yeah, like how?
Yeah. Because his dad is Hermes and he's had to make trips into the underworld. Right. Duh. Stupid is what that is. So they go and they talk to Luke and Luke gives them, oh my God. Luke tells them that they have to find these pearls that will help them get out of the underworld. These pearls are given to Percy in the book by a freaking, what is she? A nymph, a river nymph, because they're from his father and they're ways to escape, but well, not ways to escape. It's you're supposed to use these when you really need it. Like it's not this is exactly to get out of the underworld or whatever. It's basically a get out of jail free card.
You make a wish and it'll happen.
Yes. Whereas no, in the movie, it's you have to find these and that's how you're getting out of the underworld. That's how you do it because that's their quest is to get out of the underworld. And then Luke gives Percy a random ass shield.
Right?
The whole reason is because that's where the lightning bolt is hidden because there is no Ares in this movie, which I wish there was because that would have been a great scene. And he's who gives Percy a freaking backpack with something in it.
I feel like you're going to be so satisfied when you watch this TV show because I feel like I have to hope that everything you're upset about
pisses me off is in it in some way. I know. I didn't look and see if there was an Aries. I should look and see if there's an Aries.
There has to be.
There's a fucking Hermes.
There's the
and there's no reason for a Hermes.
In the preview, there was the river boat. There the water park. Good. So there has to be.
Oh, the water park. I love that scene.
So
I need to watch this damn TV show.
Yes.
God.
We're going to watch it, you guys, and
do a mini.
Yeah. Comparing it. So
yeah.
We just got to get caught up on other TV shows and movies.
Yes, we do. So now Percy has a shield to go with his clicky pen.
Yep.
They better not have made it a clicky pen in a TV show.
Okay. He's looking for Aries.
Yeah. I am. Oh my God. I love who they cast for Mr. D. There's an Aries. I need John to get back so I can watch this show.
You're like, yeah, I miss you too. Okay, let's turn on the show.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, let me tell you all about Sweden. I'm like, shut up and let's watch this. I cooked dinner. It's 2 p.m. I'm hungry.
Let's watch. Okay. So now that Percy's claimed as the son of Poseidon, he's in his own cabin. He's super depressed because he's like alone. And he goes and he meets Mr. D and Chiron, and they're letting him know that a war is going on between Zeus and the other gods because someone stole Zeus's lightning bolt. And everyone thinks it's Percy because he's the son of Poseidon. And Percy's like, what? That's not fair. I just found out about all this. And they send him to talk to the Oracle, who's like this old mummy lady, and she grants quests and all this sort of stuff and shares prophecies. And she basically told him that you're going to go on a quest. You're going to search the underworld, and you're going to be betrayed by a friend, and you're going to not get what we're saving to you. And he's like, why would you send me on a quest for that's going to fail? Thanks for that. He tells Chiron and Grover the details without the last part, the negative parts. And Chiron gave him more information about the quest, and Grover and Percy and Annabeth are going to go. And Annabeth has this magic baseball hat that makes her disappear, and she got it from her mom, Athena.
Which she did not have in the movie.
Nope.
None of that happened.
None of that happened
Which
at all.
pisses me off because the whole entire time you're like, what friend's going to betray you? Or what are you going to lose?
Mm-hmm.
But nope. In the movie, it's we gotta go get to Auntie M's to find this pearl.
Yeah, so
also,
that's the thing.
The thing, too, is you have to find 3 because one only works for one person. And yes, that's how the pearls work in the book. But literally now they have to go find 3 random ass. They throw in a whole entire extra. Right. That could have been my water park.
And it's like, Luke's just like, there are only 3 left in America. Like, oh, that's convenient.
Mm-hmm. Handy dandy.
But so I remember Cameron and Cassidy tried to get me to read this book forever. And I was like, well, you guys are all checked out from the library, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to buy it, blah, blah, blah. Excuses. Mm-hmm. Eventually, they found me almost a bootlegged copy that I could read on the computer. Yeah. Still didn't do it. And eventually I read it. And it really was like a whole new story.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what?
You're like, I don't remember any of this.
Where's the pearls? They're not looking for the pearls. It's like,
oh, no.
Yes. So, yeah. So the quest in the book is they have to go to California because that's where the underworld is.
They're meant to find the lightning bolt to return it back to Zeus
And Chiron's like, I'm pretty sure that Hades has it, and he's setting this whole thing up. And everybody's like, that makes sense. So they have to go to the underworld. And they're in New York right now. Mm-hmm. So they got to go across the country. But in the movie, they have this special map that every time a pearl pops up. So first they got to go to one place, then another place. How
convenient too. There's only 3 in America, and they have a map that lights up with where a pearl is.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. All right. So they're on the quest and they're on the bus, and all of a sudden they see these Furies get on, which is what Mrs. Dodds turned into. And one of them is Mrs. Dodds. And they came up with this plan. Percy put on Annabeth's hat and turned invisible and kind of sneakily moved it to the front of the bus. And the Furies came back and they started yelling and attacking Annabeth and Grover. And then Percy crashed the bus so that they kind of knocked around and everybody got off and they all dipped before reinforcements could come.
So the Furies happen at their second place for a pearl, but not in this way. There's still a huge ass fight and ridiculous, not done right. Other than that, this whole entire bit does not happen. Oh, it's also not Mrs. Dodds. That's the important thing to say too. It's men. It's like janitors.
Oh, yeah. So odd.
It's ridiculous.
They went to a little joint that smelled really good because they're just hungry. They're not looking for anything. They're just hungry. And
they're like, we've been traveling for a long time. We haven't eaten food.
Yeah.
And we lost our bag with our snacks.
Yep. And there's all these stone statues around. There's this Middle Eastern woman and her face is covered. And she went and got them burgers. And Grover's like, you guys, it smells like monsters here because Grover can smell monsters. But they're like, no, it smells like burgers. You're crazy. And so this old woman is telling them a story about how she had two sisters and, you know, they died. And it's all like all the details are clicking for Annabeth. Because she's like, oh my gosh, this is Medusa's story. And she's trying to get Percy to leave, but Percy is tired from the food. And Medusa just wants a quick picture. And he's like, yeah, sure. What could go wrong with a picture?
She just gave us food, guys. We got to be nice to her.
Yep. And before she can get the picture, though, or the turning of stone, Grover notices that one of the statues was his uncle. And Annabeth puts on her hat and disappears. And they all start running away because here comes Medusa. But they can look at her through a reflection and they eventually start fighting. Percy eventually chops off her head. I said eventually like 5 times there. And they go through the cash register and everything and they see something was sent to the underworld. So now they have an address. And then Percy's like, you know what? Screw the gods. They ruined my life. And he sends Medusa's head to Mount Olympus.
I wish so bad that they did that. Instead, they keep Medusa's head to use it as a weapon. Ridiculous. Oh, it was a Hydra that the freaking janitors
that's
turned
what I was
into.
thinking. I was like, were there Furies too?
No, it wasn't Furies. They just turned into the freaking Hydra. Ugh. God dang. Oof. Okay, so first off, Auntie M's just has a pearl, guys. There's no food there because they're only looking for these things and they miraculously can just go and appear at these places. Also, Medusa did not do very well at hiding her face, which it makes sense in the book why she would be trying to hide her face because, duh, it's obvious who you are. Nope. In the movie, she just has a turban on her head and she's got sunglasses on and she's Uma Thurman and is very like, hello. I'm like, oh my God, why? This is ridiculous. And then in the book, Grover notices that a statue looks like his uncle, but he doesn't know it's his uncle because he doesn't know what happened to his uncle. He knows that his uncle he's a searcher. Or is that what they're called?
I think so.
It's such a weird, why would they call him a searcher? But whatever.
Because they're searching for Pan.
I mean, that makes sense. But why can't you call him, give him a better name than that? Anyways, he's searching for Pan, which is basically what a lot of satires want to go and do. Whatever. Satyrs. And so he doesn't know what happened to his uncle. His uncle has gone on his search. And basically, this is just what happens to satyrs. They go, they leave to search for Pan, and they never come back. And you hope that they will, but there's a chance that they won't. So Grover doesn't know. In the movie, he sees the statue and he's like, oh, wow, this dude looks like my uncle. But it can't be my uncle because he died by, and then it clicked and he was like, oh yeah, he died by Medusa. And I'm like,
how would he know that too? No, there's no one to write.
No one can tell you that someone died by Medusa. How? So then when Medusa is with Percy, before Percy has figured out who she is, she then starts telling Percy that she dated his dad. And I'm like, it's Annabeth telling Percy about all of the lore and the myth and everything. And it's like, there's a big chance that she wants you because of your dad. And he's like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Not basically Medusa getting revenge for whatever. God damn. So then Annabeth makes them keep Medusa's head. I was so mad, and I was trying to take videos, and I was trying to write notes, and I kept thinking that I wouldn't have to write so much notes, but then the next thing would happen, I'd be like, what the hell? This is not right. So then my notes started getting shorter because I wanted to be like, have to write this. But you're right. At Medusa's place, there's just a flyer, and he's like, look, this is where the underworld is. Wow, so handy dandy.
So Grover and Percy are talking. And Grover desires to become a seeker, which is what all satyrs want to do. And he wants to go find Pan. This is exactly what we just talked about.
I know, that's hilarious.
No one comes back alive. Percy then has this really weird dream where someone is telling him to bring me the bolts. And Percy wakes up, and Grover had this pink poodle. He's like, it has a reward. So they turned it in, and they got money. And they were able to buy some train tickets.
Nope, it does not happen.
Okay. So they're on the train. And
yeah.
What?
No, keep going.
Okay. They're on the train, and Annabeth and Percy are talking, and they find out that her dad just sucks, and he married a lady that sucks even more, and just they don't want her because she's dangerous and all this sort of stuff. They ended up having to go across the Mississippi River, and they go and do that. Waiting for Bri to scroll down on my notes. And they were at the observation deck, and there was this really weird lady with her chihuahua who's barking and just being weird. And then they ended up going down because the deck was closing, but the elevator was full, and Annabeth and Grover got on one, and Percy's like, that's okay, I'll get on the next one. So he waited, and the weird lady was there, and it turns out she's the mother of monsters, and her chihuahua is some type of monster, and she like reveals her snake reptilian self, and this huge battle like begins, but Percy's like, there's no way I can match this battle, so he jumps into the river.
So I'll just talk about the freaking Hydra battle here because this does not happen. And I forgot. So in the book, what Luke gives to them is shoes, Hermes shoes, so that they can fly.
That happened in the book.
Yeah.
How did I not?
Well,
because I said Luke gave him stuff. I didn't say what he gave him.
Explain.
Yeah. Sorry.
Because he also gave it to them in the movie too. But here's the difference. In the book, when they get it, Percy gets it. It's like, thank you. But then he turns to Chiron, and because Chiron has now told him, like, you are the son of Poseidon. Zeus has known this. That's why your mom never let you fly. Like, you can't get on airplanes. You can't be in the sky because Zeus will most likely shoot you down. So Percy gets these shoes, turns to Chiron, and is like, I can't wear these, can I? And he goes, nope. So he gives them to Grover to put on his feet, and Grover immediately does. In the movie, they keep them, just for shits and giggles, is basically. In this Hydra fight, that's when they decide, oh, Athena's wearing this crown with that pearl in it. We gotta get that. But also there's this huge fight, and I gotta go and save my friends. So I'm gonna put these shoes on, even though I am Poseidon's son, and I'm gonna fly around in this museum. Some stupid ass shit. Oh, also, in this fight, where the hell did the water come from, Percy? Huh? Percy just randomly calls water to help fight this Hydra too, where Percy's supposed to only be able to do that when there's water nearby. Like if there's a water fountain, if there's like toilet, if there's the river, he can't just be like, come to me and make water out of nothing.
So there's supposed to be a Hydra in the next movie, but there's not. So they're taking stuff from the there's flip-flopping movies. Oh, jeez, my gosh.
They're like, hey. What it was they probably weren't sure that they were going to make a second one. So they were like, maybe we want the Hydra.
Right.
Wouldn't that be fun? Let's make that.
And they wanted this building in there. Fun. I went to this building, actually.
Yeah,
because
really?
it's in Nashville. Oh, and so it was like on my list of, I was like, Mom, Percy Jackson was filmed here. I want to go see it. I'll have to see if I can find a picture. But all right. So he is now in the river and he's breathing underwater. He just found out. And he got a summons from someone that his father asked him to go to Santa Monica before he goes to the underworld. So he gets out and finds Grover and Annabeth, and they all leave. But they hear a news reporter saying Percy's crazy Percy Jackson again. Oh, because Smelly Gabe has been spouting all these lies that Percy is a delinquent and stole his wife and like all this sort of stuff. And so Percy's like #1 wanted right now on all news media. Can all the other demigods, do they all have magical powers too? To the point that Percy does, where he can breathe underwater, not get wet, control water and all this? Or is it just because he's a big three? Like, I've only ever read the first 2. So does anyone else get magic powers?
I'm trying to think, because I think they do, but I'm also trying to think if it's people who are not the big 3.
Oh,
I actually think it's just the big 3.
okay.
So,
Bummer.
yeah, I plan on this read through has made me want to read the whole series. So I'll probably end up reading the rest of the series. So I'll let you know when I remember.
Yeah, I would love to. Maybe one day.
So that doesn't happen.
Okay. So they made a water phone call to camp. So they basically spray water and they pay.
Oh, this is what made me mad too. I wanted to see this, but in the movie, they just pull Luke up on the laptop and FaceTime him through the laptop.
Because he has a whole freaking setup at his camp.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. Duh.
And so they wanted to talk to Chiron, but Luke answered instead. So they just updated him on the quest. And they ran out of water. So they're hungry again. They went to go beg for burgers at the restaurant, but Ares shows up and he bought them food and he sent them on a side quest to go get his shield because he was hooking up with Aphrodite in an abandoned water park. And it ended up being a huge trap because Aphrodite's husband keeps trying to embarrass her and Ares. And it was just a disaster, but they got out of it.
What's funny is I forgot I was going to say John is playing a game called Hades and he had me play it. And it's kind of funny that I end up playing this game as I'm reading this book. Because then like when all the gods pop up, because it's about Hades' son, his name starts with a Z. I can't remember his name, but he's trying to escape from the underworld. He doesn't want to be down there anymore. And so the game is you playing as the son trying to escape. And like all of your aunts and uncles like come and are trying to help you. So they give you boosts and perks. So like Aphrodite will pop up and Zeus will pop up and Poseidon. How funny. So I'm just like, oh, hey. Oh, hey. Hi. Oh, but yeah, that doesn't happen.
Nope. No cute water park.
No, I wanted to see that so bad.
Yep. So they returned the shield to Ares and he gave them a backpack of things and they got him a ride to California. It was in this old animal moving truck thing and they were pretty abusive to these poor animals, the lions, the antelope, and the zebra that were in there. But on the way, Percy slept and he had another dream where there's these 2 figures talking to each other, but Percy didn't really know who they were. Then he saw Talia, the daughter of Zeus, and she tells Percy, one of us has to get out, talking about the underworld. So Percy's like, what is going on? And Percy found out that Grover was the protector of Talia, Luke, and Annabeth. And he ended up messing that up. So he could only save Luke and Annabeth.
At this point in the book, when I was reading it, I sat there and I was like, I don't remember this happening in the movie. I was like, but I know the movie messes up, but I don't think it messes up this bad.
It does.
Yes, it does, because none of this happened.
So when they get to stop, the animals are free. And so the animals are free. They let them go free. And they're in Vegas because, they have to dip. They don't get the whole ride because they let these animals go free. And so the concierge shows up and is like, here, you have a free room. And here's a credit card with unlimited credit on it. And they're like, oh, cool. And they're like, well, let's just have a little fun. And they play these video games for hours. And Percy finally snaps out of it a little bit. And there's this guy from 1977, one game, and 1985 from another, and 1993 on another one. And he's realizing, oh my gosh, they think they've only been in here for a couple weeks. And he gets Annabeth and Grover to leave, and they were out they were in there for 5 days, and they're on a time crunch. They have to. The war is going to break out on the summer solstice, so they only had
21st.
They only had 2 weeks or something like that,
Yeah.
and now they just lost 5 days from this place.
So I am glad that they at least go to the Lotus Hotel.
I was gonna say this is actually I think the most accurate out of the whole movie.
The only thing that's different is that the thing that's keeping them there are these Lotus bars that they have to eat.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, they do this okay. Except when they come out after 5 days, the very next day is their deadline. Whereas in the book, they have 3 days.
And they went there because that's where a pearl was.
Oh, yeah. Yes, there was a pearl there. That's the other difference.
All right. So they took a cab to Santa Monica, and he's like, that's going to be too much money. And she's like, here, take this. And he scanned it, and it was their Lotus card, and it was unlimited amount. He's like, okay. And so he sped them off there. And they're trying to figure out what Percy's dream meant. And they agreed it doesn't sound like Hades, but they don't know. It could be. Who knows? And once they get to the beach, Percy just walks into the water, and he rides a shark to the place that the lady came and talked to him from the river nymph. And she gave him 3 pearls to smash. When you need something, just think about what you need.
Wow.
So convenient compared to the movie.
Yep, the movie's ridiculous.
They wandered around LA trying to figure out where they were supposed to go because they knew the underworld was here, but they didn't know exactly. Well, they had the address, but they couldn't figure out. Nobody knew where it was.
Well, they knew it was DOA or something. And they're like, where is this record company? And everyone's like, the hell? That's not a record company.
Right. Finally, they were cornered by these kids, and then they ran into a waterbed store to hide because the kids had knives on them and stuff. And then the salesman,
Krusty,
he was like,
I saw on IMDb there's a Krusty. I gotta watch this show.
oh, cool. Okay. Yeah. I'm sick. Ooh, I'm excited.
Yeah. I also just realized I don't have Disney Plus, so I can't even cheat and watch it before John.
I might go home tonight and watch the first episode. Are they half hour long or are they hours?
I don't know.
I don't either.
Oh, I hope hour.
That'd be cool. I'll let you know.
Yeah.
The salesman was someone who ended up trying to stretch Grover and Annabeth to fit the waterbeds because everybody had to be perfect size for these waterbeds. If they were too tall, he just chopped a bit of them off. And he, again, was some Greek god story that Percy knew and had to trick him. So he got done strapped to a waterbed, and Percy chopped his head off. And they figured out the underworld was a block away.
The address was on a card in this store, not in Auntie M's.
Yes.
Krusty does not exist in the movie.
They went down to the underworld, and they had to bribe the entry guy to let them in, and eventually he did. And they were trying to figure out how to get past Cerberus. And he's not a stick dog, but he is a ball dog. So Annabeth played ball with him from a ball she got at the water park. And Grover and Percy snuck past, and eventually she was able to also, but they went through this magic detector, metal detector thing. And now all the underworld's looking for them because the alarm went off.
That doesn't happen. They just show up and they're at freaking Hades' place. And then freaking Persephone is there. And Persephone is not in the book. I'm like, wow, now you're just throwing a goddess in there because you wanted to cast Rosario Dawson in this movie. And she's great in the role, but will also, yeah. I guess I will just finish.
Okay, go.
Because now Persephone is there. And Hades is there. And the shield that Luke has given Percy is there. And the lightning bolt shows up. So Hades is like, oh, you brought that for me. So here's your mom. So his mom materializes in the underworld. So then, right after this, Annabeth puts it all together and is like, Luke is the one who stole the lightning bolt. No one's supposed to realize it because Luke tells Percy at the end of the book.
Right. Because they think it's Ares. But Ares doesn't exist in the movie.
No. So then, while all this is going on, Persephone takes the lightning bolt and hits Hades with it. And that's how they get rid of Hades. So then they can go. But then they realize they only have 3 pearls and there's 4 of them. How are they going to save Percy's mom when in the book specifically, Percy has an opportunity to save his mom. And he's like, I could get my mom back and have her take the pearl and I'll stay back. And everyone's like arguing about who will stay back. And he goes, nope, my mom would not like this. So I have to find a different way around this. Mm-hmm. In the movie, sure as shit, he don't, because Grover decides to stay behind.
Oh my gosh. And then him and Persephone get a little frisky.
Yeah. Yeah. They've got a little love thing going on. What?
Grover and Persephone,
not Percy. Persephone, that would be weird.
That would be weird.
Aunt and nephew?
Yeah, that would be weird.
Okay.
All right. Well, in the book, it happens a little different. So
a little.
They almost get to where they need to go to Hades' lair or whatever, but Grover's shoes start to take off because he's wearing Luke's shoes. And they drag him towards this pit, but he's able to kick him off because he's got little hooves on. And they don't know what's in the pit, but they're like, that is no friend of anybody's. And Percy notices the backpack's getting heavier, but he's like, there's no time to check why. We got to just get going. Finally, they get to Hades, and he is telling him to give him his helmet back, his dark magic helmet. And his helmet was stolen too. Percy's like, we don't have it. He's like, why do I believe you? Why would I believe you? Because you have the lightning bolts. He's like, no, we don't. And then he opens his backpack and there's the lightning bolts. He's like, oh my gosh, we were tricked by Ares. Ares gave us this bag and everything in it. And they had to make the choice to leave his mom, which Bri said. And Hades trying to barter with her. But they're like, nope. And they use the pearls to get out of there.
So straight from the underworld in the movie, they go straight to Olympus. Percy, his mom, and Annabeth. I'll stop there. I'll let you go so that I can get pissed about this.
Okay. But they pop up in the ocean in the book, and the Coast Guard saves them and everything like this. And they get to LA and they see Ares, and he's pissed. And Percy's like calling him out and making him more and more angry. And he had Hades' helmet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so then the police show up and Ares catches their cars on fire and this huge battle takes place. And Percy ends up using the water to help him. And eventually Percy stabs Ares in the ankle. And Ares is like, you made an enemy, Percy Jackson, and takes off.
Nope. In the movie, this huge fight is with Luke at the top of Olympus. Not even the top of Olympus, the Empire State Building.
Mm-hmm.
But also, Percy's mom is the one who knew how to get to Olympus. I'm like,
right? That was so weird to me.
I'm like, yeah, the human woman who knows nothing about gods is the one who knows how to get to Olympus. Okay. She knows how to get to Olympus, but she also can't go with them.
Right?
Yeah.
I just know it's there.
Yeah. Here you go.
But, they're on the other side of the country right now. So Percy got his name cleared by the police because Ares was labeled as a kidnapper and all this sort of stuff because people took pictures and from when they first met and all this sort of stuff. And he was able to take a flight to New York. And now he's very, very nervous because, as we said, he's not supposed to fly, but they really had no choice because they were on a time crunch. Mm-hmm. And they made it up to the 600th floor and they spoke to Zeus and Poseidon and he explained everything. And Poseidon said his mother came back and there's this package waiting for it at home. Yeah, because his mother just came back now. Mm-hmm. First time. And Percy's like, what? That's awesome.
Yeah.
There's this package going to be at home and he's going to have to make a life decision. Percy reunited with his mom and they went home and realized after talking with Gabe and seeing his mom's interaction with him, that Gabe had been abusive to his mom at some point. And the package was from himself. It was Medusa's head. And he spoke to his mom about it. And she's like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. He's like, fine, but I'm going to leave the head for you. And sure enough, his mom turned Gabe into a statue.
Damn straight.
And he left for Half-Blood Hill.
So in the movie, now Annabeth gets to see her mom too, because she's in Olympus and she's never seen her mom. And so she's excited to see her mom. And then When they're there, Percy tells the gods all about Luke and how Luke is the one who did this.
Which also, hang on, Annabeth, Luke, and whoever went to Mount Olympus. So she's already seen her mom.
Wait.
Like, and she supposedly went there in the movie too.
Yeah.
Dumb.
Ay. So then, after Percy tells them about Luke and gives Zeus his lightning bolt, he asks Zeus if he can save Grover. Whereas in my head, I was like, this is how they're going to get around the whole searcher thing for the second book. Like, this is the whole, we have to save Grover from the underworld. And then he says this, and Zeus is like, yeah, I guess I can do that for you. I was like, the hell is that? And then after that, Poseidon's like, Zeus, can I talk to my son? And Zeus is like, yeah, go ahead. So then they have this like conversation. That doesn't happen. And then the conversation makes me so mad. Poseidon basically tells Percy, when I was with your mom, I was becoming human. And that's why Zeus decided that we couldn't have contact with our human families. What is that shit? What god is like, yeah, I want to stay human. Like, okay, Poseidon. And then
Hercules did. From Cartoon Land.
Actually, very, very good point. I mean, but he grew up human. So
It's a little different, yeah.
Yeah, a little different. Like, that would be just weird. Like, in his shoes, I would do the same thing. In Poseidon's shoes, I would not.
I know. True love, Bri. True love.
And then Allie's about to mention this, but I'm just going to finish this stupid movie. Percy's decision, or one of the decisions he has to make, is if he wants to spend a year or his school year at home with his mom or the school year at camp. And it's very like, ooh, I don't know. In the movie, he's like, or his mom even is like, I know where you have to go. And he stays at Camp Half-Blood. And he's like, yeah, this is where I belong. No, you're supposed to go back home. And then Grover is there. And Grover is there. And he shows Percy his little horns because that means he's now a protector. I'm like, no, Grover, you've been a protector this whole damn time.
He's also had horns this whole time. I was just going to say, and if you were reading the book, he had horns the whole damn time. It's just like you were a little adolescent and you couldn't see it. And you're supposed to have a Rastafarian cap on. So we saw a bunch in the book. Not a bunch, but a good chunk. So he goes back to Half-Blood Hill and he's feeling at home. And he got a note from his mom slyly letting him know that, yeah, Gabe's a statue now. And Grover got his searcher's license and he's going to go look for Pan. And Percy's trying to figure out the last part of that prophecy, though, because none of his friends betrayed him. And he understood the part where he couldn't save his mom, but then he ended up saving his mom. So he's still trying to figure out what's going on. He had to decide if he was staying year round at camp or going home. And he really wanted to go home. Well, he wanted to stay at camp because awesome camp, right?
Duh.
But he wanted to go home because it would be the first time ever he would just get to live with his mom. So it was a tough decision. He went to fight the dummy things with Luke, and Luke was like destroying them.
Well, Luke, he didn't go with Luke. He went to go do it to like let off steam, and Luke was there. And Luke has a new sword that can fight both mortals and immortals, which he found weird because Chiron specifically said they are never to fight mortals. They never fight mortals. And Luke said they should go practice in the woods. Let's go fight one more thing. And then all of a sudden Luke sent a poisonous magical scorpion on him. And Luke's just talking to him. And this is where we get the whole reveal that Luke was the one who betrayed Percy and he tricked Ares and all of this sort of stuff. And he believes that the gods should be overthrown. And Kronos, who was the original underworld god, is Zeus's dad.
Yeah. So he should be the one who should be ruling again, even though he ate his children and all this sort of stuff.
Yum.
Yep. So at this winter solstice, Luke went to go steal the stuff, but Ares ended up catching him. So then Luke had to trick Ares to betray the three to start a war. and all this sort of stuff. And then the scorpion eventually stuck Peter.
Percy?
Yep, thanks.
Wow, now we're just throwing divergent characters in there. Peter deserved it, but
I think it was like, is it Peter Johnson that Mr. D keeps calling Percy?
oh yeah.
Maybe that's what I was doing in my head. So he woke up in the hospital and he told Chiron and Annabeth everything, but he was instructed not to go after him because he's not ready yet. And Annabeth is going to go home for the school year because she took Percy's advice and she's called her dad and they got in contact. So she's going to try again. And Percy decided he is also going to go home. But they agree they'll be back next year to go find Luke together.
Whether they get a quest or not.
Yep.
Little did they know shit was going to be happening.
Yeah. Come find out next week what it is. Okay, let's do it. IMDb cast 156 people.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Logan Lerman played Percy Jackson.
I love him as Percy. I wish they gave him the right Percy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, he's the wrong age and all this sort of stuff. But I really I had no qualms with the top three. I think it's because I saw it first.
Yeah.
I really liked them. They did not match their book character at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I really liked him.
Yeah, same.
Brandon T. Jackson played Grover.
I love him for Grover.
I do too.
I also think he's Grover for sure.
Mm-hmm. Alexandria, what did you say?
Alexandra Daddario.
Sure. Played Annabeth.
It's funny because I didn't recast her.
But you don't like her.
Yeah.
How funny.
She's good for what was written for the movie.
Okay.
But it's not Annabeth.
Right. Jake Abel played Luke.
I love him as Luke.
I know, he did good.
He does so good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sean Bean played Zeus.
I mean, how could you not?
I know, I love Sean.
What's funny is when I was reading it, I felt like that was who was Zeus, but I couldn't remember it. Then I watched it and I was like,
I totally forgot who was and wasn't. And I was like, oh my gosh. Pierce Brosnan played Mr. Bruner, a.k.a. Chiron.
His hair is hilarious.
Yes, I didn't recast, but reading it, I remembered sort of facial expression or features, but I didn't remember who it was. Mm-hmm. I thought it was Jeff Bridges.
Oh, that would have been way better.
I think I am going to recast, actually.
I'll recast that too. I love Pierce Brosnan, but man, not in this role.
Yeah.
Maybe Pierce should have been Hades. Because I don't like who they cast for Hades.
I don't either. I recast.
Oh, good. I just didn't like the movie.
I couldn't pick a Hades though, so you're gonna have to help me.
Okay.
Are we there? Are we at Hades?
Yeah. Steve Coogan was Hades, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Who you got?
I have 3, and I don't know if I love officially any of them for the part, but I couldn't pick. So I had Gary Oldman, Tom Hardy, or Christian Bale.
Oh, why you do that to me? I was about to be like, duh, it's going to be Gary.
I know, right?
And then you threw in Christian.
Because I think Christian Bale could really do it.
I think Christian would be Hades 100%.
I think he could do it.
Oh, for sure. Oh, he would have been great.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm with you.
All right, cool. And then, oh gosh.
Rosario Dawson.
Yep. Played, what's her name?
Persephone.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's funny because I always forget Persephone's story.
Uh-huh.
But I love that name. And so I name a lot of my video game characters.
You do.
Persephone. Mm-hmm.
You do.
Mm-hmm.
Is she the one with the box, the paradox box, the magic box where you open it, then you get
Pandora's
box?
I don't think that's Persephone.
Oh.
She's Hades' wife.
I know that. I thought she was the one who made the box too. I don't know if she is.
Oh, I don't know. I know her story has something to do with pomegranates.
Oh, I don't know.
Look, I've already forgotten it. It's a really sad story for a goddess.
I believe it. In my head, I had Zoe Saldana.
Zoe Saldana?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, they look
exactly the same.
Yeah.
I always got them confused.
That's probably why I thought that.
Yeah.
Then we have, oh no.
Have fun. I'm not even going to try that one.
Melina Canacarides.
Canacarides? Yeah.
Kanakaredes.
You tell us.
Wait, Athena.
I don't like her.
Did you cast her?
No.
You failed your mission.
I really did. I just think I finished the movie and was like, I'm done. But I also think that I'm just impartial to the name. And so I'm like, no one can be Athena.
Oh my gosh. Catherine Keener played Sally Jackson.
I love her. I actually think she did good. Oh, you didn't like her?
I mean, it's not that I didn't like her. Which one did I pick? I chose Emily Blunt.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, she didn't do bad.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, meh.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Kevin McKidd played Poseidon.
I love Kevin McKidd.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't recast him, but also there's a part of me that's like, they didn't make him look the role.
He only got the role because Grey's Anatomy was huge back then.
Oh, that's probably, you're probably right. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yep. Uma Thurman was Medusa.
Honestly, I think she was probably one of the better cast of the movie.
Yeah, she did good.
Yeah.
Is the book and the movie the same? Same theme?
The theme? Sure. Story?
Goddesses.
No.
Yeah. Greek mythology.
Mm-hmm.
Boy hero.
Mm-hmm. That's about
Adventure? No.
Yeah, no.
Actual plot?
No.
Do the characters stay true?
No.
No, I don't think so.
Not at all.
Mm-mm. And what do you prefer?
Movie. No.
I was like, what?
Book. 1000% book.
Same.
Good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because the movie is shit.
It's another one where it's like, they're two different stories. So, I mean, can you really pick?
No.
Because they're just two different things.
Literally. They shouldn't have named the movie Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief.
Nope. Nope. Would you recommend it to a friend?
The book, yes. Yeah, the movie,
I would recommend both of them.
Yeah, I would too.
I mean,
if it was someone who had read the book, the movie, no.
Yes. I would say you should watch it just to see how much they screwed up.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no. This one actually, I remember this was one of the, how many did I do? I must have done like 4 or 5. In my class, we did this one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Of course, this was when I was pregnant and I had Riley. So I missed 3 months of reading. And I mean, which is a lot and not a lot because it's a read aloud. You have 15 minutes to read. Like it takes like 3 months to read a book. And so I had read the very beginning with them and then the very end. And then we watched the movie and I hadn't read it for years.
Yeah.
So the class is like, what? And I'm just like, write me an essay.
Yeah.
Tell me what's wrong.
That's hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
Ay.
Yep. Or you guys, you should go to our website because we have fun things on our website.
Yeah, we actually do.
We have like a newsletter you guys can
subscribe to.
We have our whole schedule is there.
Mm-hmm. We also have, if you want to help us out and deliver some of our bookmarks to little free libraries near you, you could sign up there.
Yep. It has links to all of our episodes where you can rate, subscribe, and review them.
Yeah. It even has links to our social medias.
It does. It's the perfect spot.
Oh, it even has merch.
It really, really does.
Mm-hmm. Take a look.
We would give you the website, but it's like
it's a Wix website.
We cheap.
It's in our show notes though. Mm-hmm.
Go look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Click it because Facebook and Instagram don't like me posting it. They're like, no, I'm sorry. You can't post links. And I'm like, get out of here. So
why not? It is in our bio in our social medias.
It is there. So go.
You could do that too.
You can find it anywhere you want. Just try.
Yeah.
It's like a little scavenger hunt.
Yeah. Figure it out.
On this Wednesday, we have a mini-sode for you.
Yeah, we're going to be comparing the 1979 version of Amityville to Ryan Reynolds.
Yep.
I'm so ready to get my pig.
I haven't seen the original one, so I don't really know what I'm in for.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean, you do.
I do.
But you don't.
And I watched the other one months and months
Forever
ago. So
ago.
let's see how well we could do this. But we also have talking notes for Percy Jackson. Okay. And then on Monday, we have, obviously, Percy Jackson and the Sea of Monsters. And
What if we were like...
this one sucked too much. We're not doing the next one.
We're going to the host. I was trying to think of different.
Right.
My brain is so fried, and I have our schedule, so my brain's not thinking of any book adaptations right now.
But it's we didn't qualify this one as a series because there were only 2, and I feel like a series you need at least 3.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely. I'm not. Plus, what would we go do? Swim in the ocean?
Heck yes. Go find lightning somewhere.
Yes. I'm gonna steal some lightning, guys. No, I don't qualify it. It's not 3. It's also
it has to be at least 3. The movies
not well done.
it was not well done.
So,
well, neither was Divergent.
Divergent was shit.
But they had 3. This one doesn't, so it doesn't count.
Yeah,
or it's not a full. Like
it's not the whole entire book
the
series.
Full series.
Yeah, I think that's really
I think
what
even
it
if
is.
there were 3 of them, it wasn't the full series.
It wasn't the whole entire series. Like, there's no ending. There's no finality to it.
Bummer.
So, yeah, dummies. But I'll also thank you for not. I don't think I could have handled that.
Now there is
A TV show.
going to be a very good TV show.
I don't even know if it got picked up for any other seasons. So I'll have to dig into that. I'll be really sad if it's just one. Then I might not watch it. Get so happy and then
it did sort of just finish.
Fall apart. That's true.
So
because it was doing
I think
what
it was
Disney
weekly.
does.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay.
So it might not.
Makes sense.
I'm sure it's done, but
I'll check later.
All right.
All right. With that, Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief.
Bye live.
Thinking
We
about
screwed
how-
up the movie.
how fucked up
Screw up this part.
Oh, okay. Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief went off script. Bye.
Thanks for sticking with us.
We hope you enjoyed it.
If you did, we would greatly appreciate it if you gave us 5 beautiful stars, reviewed, and subscribed.
You can also follow us on Facebook at Offscript, on Instagram at Offscript Podcast 21, and on TikTok at Offscript_pod.
Shoutouts to Madame Shen Creations for our adorable logo art.
And Adam Daniel for our incredible theme song.
And to Creative Cinephile Productions for producing our podcast.
See you next time.